A politician with a populist touch, Joseph Estrada was swept to the presidency by impoverished millions who saw him as their champion. As a swashbuckling former movie star, Estrada's disarmingly honest about his hard drinking and many mistresses. Flaws he celebrates even today by congratulating these teenage singers for being as sexy as the starlets he once dated. But their song of thanks belies a president in deep trouble. Estrada is now the centre of the deepest political crisis to hit the Philippines since the downfall of Marcos. If the claims in this scandal are true, he's a man whose greed drove him to steal millions from people who live on as little as $1 a day. A scandal that's forcing him to spend hours pleading his innocence before the rehearsed cheers of busting crowds. Right from the start, Joseph Estrada's presidency has been dogged by concerns over his connections to cronies, underworld figures and a flamboyant lifestyle. Estrada defends his womanising, drinking and gambling by saying his life is an open book with nothing to hide. But that lifestyle has now caught up with Estrada and threatens not only his presidency but also confidence in the economic future of his country.
And you became, if you like, the bagman for the whole Luzon.
Yeah, I cannot.
Luis Chavez Singson is a crime world insider whose whistleblowing threatens to bring down a president.
So I'm just telling you how they make money, how corrupt this government is, how corrupt Mr. Estrada is. He's been doing this ever since when he was a vice president.
Starting life as a licensed embalmer, Singson is a politician, a provincial governor, who is also a crime boss. Constantly surrounded by bodyguards, he's a gangster whose reputation for violence has created a vast underworld empire and control of illegal gambling.
Singson is what we call in the Philippines a warlord. That means he's a local boss. He has goons, he has guns, and he controls the economic and political power in his province up in the north of the country. He is a man who's used to fistfights. You know, he's been accused of killing his political enemies. His political enemies have tried to kill him not once but several times. He's Al Pacino, yeah, in the Philippine context. Yeah.
This is the last.
But unlike Al Pacino, Singson has broken the gangster's golden rule and grasped on his biggest patron.
What did you used to use this for?
For the money. 5 million. 5 million pesos. You can easily fit here 5 million pesos.
Singson says he personally delivered 5 million pesos, or about $100,000 in illegal gambling profits to Estrada twice every month at the presidential palace.
He counts it.
The president.
By the bundle.
You showed the president.
Yeah, I showed the president. By the bundle, 5 bundles. When he's busy, I'll just show him this. The records are with Yuli. Okay. That's it.
And that was about how much? That was like 5 million pesos?
Every 15 days, 5 million pesos, or a total of 10 million a month.
As bizarre and sad as it undoubtedly is, the money came from here, from the poor streets of the Philippines and the masses Estrada has vowed to protect. So desperate is life and so popular gambling that many prefer to bet what little they have in the hope of making just a little bit more. And no game is more popular than the illegal numbers game, wetting. The game Singson says made the president so much money, and it's easy to see how.
Play. Okay, your number is 17 and 20.
Police General Romeo Maganto explains how wetting works. Players bet a few cents on 2 out of 37 numbers. Then collectors take the sheets away to unknown operators.
25.
25. Oh,
So
okay. You lost.
Gamblers are later told if they win or lose. It's a blatant scam. And although the small amounts hardly seem worth it, with millions betting up to 3 times a day, the total amounts soon add up for the gambling lords and, if Sing Son is to be believed, their protector, the president.
Why do they have to give it to the president, though? What did he promise them in return?
Protection.
Protection.
No, there are nobody's. It's big tolerated. Protection.
So that would mean what? That there would be no police raid, there would be no army raid, that you would be able to operate.
Right. And we have here 20 persons. They were all arrested for illegal gambling.
But now the police raids have begun.
Most people are engaged in this kind of a game. Very popular.
Just as the scandal broke, President Estrada ordered a crackdown on illegal gambling, which has so far netted only a few small-time operators. It's hard to imagine how these minor players could be responsible for what Governor Sing Son says are the huge cash payments that were siphoned up to the president. But these men are right at the bottom of the gambling pyramid in the Philippines.
It's part of the culture of this, our countrymen.
2 months ago, Estrada, who is seen on billboards around the country denouncing corruption, moved to deal another one of his cronies into the game. He wanted to replace wetting with a legal game called Bingo 2-Ball. The trouble was, the crony he gave the contract to is one of Sing Son's underworld rivals.
They gave it to my political opponent, whom I beat in the last election.
They gave the Bingo 2-Ball.
Yes, it's like adding insult to injury. They used me, and then they gave. It was. I don't know how they did it, but they gave it to my political opponent.
Sing Son says when they tried to have him killed, he decided there was nothing more to lose and he went public.
The governor wants to go into brass tacks right away.
Along with the gambling charges, Sing Son claims he helped Estrada hold back 130 million pesos, about $2.5 million US, in tobacco taxes that were meant to be paid to Sing Son's province.
I requested to release the funds, and they requested me to help pay some expenses in the last election.
So you said to him, I want the release of the tobacco tax money?
Yeah.
He said, oh, sure.
Sure, I will release, but can you help? I said, of course. If I'll say no, he might not release the funds.
Why should we believe that you delivered money to the president when he denies it?
I have no hidden agenda. I have everything to lose. Why should I go public? And why should I not accept the offer to me? I challenge them to sit down in a lie detector. They don't want. So that alone. And they're already lying. All of them are lying already.
Siya po'y nagugumon sa bisyo at nagagamit ng kanyang mapagsariling mga barkada.
In the deeply Catholic Philippines, Sing Son's claims have caused a wave of moral indignation.
Napayo ng matatanda sa mga kabataan.
Church leaders say Estrada has lost the moral authority to rule. The scandal has forced back onto the public stage the people power heroes who ousted Marcos. Former President Corazon Aquino's new campaign has one aim.
I think it is my duty to lead in this peaceful protest.
What's the aim, if we can put it in a nutshell, of your campaign at the moment?
Well, as I have mentioned before, I hope that the President will make the supreme self-sacrifice and consider resignation.
If there's a Cory Aquino equivalent today, it's this woman. Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, the daughter of a former president, is an economist whose US training included time as a classmate of Bill Clinton. As an opposition party vice president, she resigned 2 weeks ago from Estrada's cabinet.
The magnitude of the corruption depicted by Governor Sing Son was really mind-boggling and really violated the sensitivities of any ordinary person who cares about any minimum degree of integrity.
But Arroyo is an ambitious politician who can smell her victory in Estrada's defeat. As Vice President, she's ready to take over if Estrada resigns, an outcome she's now actively seeking by leading the loose coalition of opposition groups clamouring for his departure.
Many people have said to me in the past few days that in fact the campaign of opposition, the public campaign against him, will not win because it doesn't have a leader at the moment.
It didn't, but I have been called upon to lead, so here I am.
Her first job is to unify the opposition, and at a meeting to form an alternative government, she's joined on stage by a heavy hitter with yet another anti-Estrada bombshell.
And my response to him was...
Former Securities and Exchange Commission Chief Perfecto Yasai says Estrada called him 4 times to fix an insider trading investigation into one of his cronies, Dante Tan.
He calls me back after talking to the president of the Philippine Stock Exchange. He tells me again, you have to clear Dante Tan and BW in 3 days. I'm banking on you. That's exactly the words of the president.
Yasai refused the presidential direction and resigned. The market immediately lost 1/3 of its value.
The president violated and broke the law by 1, impinging on the independence of the SEC, which is clearly safeguarded by the law, and 2, giving a direct order to the chairman to the prejudice of the interests of the government. And that's a very serious violation of the anti-graft law.
Previous scandals such as insider manipulation in the stock exchange are difficult to understand. But this one is very easy to understand. The president gets a cut from illegal gambling money. And so it is, and the fact that the allegations are being made by an insider, someone who has intimate knowledge of the workings of the presidential palace, someone who has admitted to all-night mahjong and drinking parties with the president, lends these charges credibility.
To find out why Estrada might want the cash, you only have to travel to the tree-lined avenues of Manila's most salubrious suburbs.
Sir, please don't.
And as we found, filming these houses is not welcome. The reason? Each of Estrada's 6 known mistresses lives in one.
No, don't do that.
Sir, please.
What's the problem, sir?
He managed to convince people that, yeah, you're right, why are we making so much fuss about a man who has, God knows, 7 wives? Because he says no one's complaining, none of my wives are, why should you complain? He used to make jokes like that. And we found it funny and we let him get away with it. But suddenly now, we're going back to the real issue here, which is the issue of character, whether this man has the character to govern a country.
Sheila Coronel investigated Estrada's wealth. She found that in the 28 months since becoming president, Estrada has used a network of associates to accumulate property worth $20 million.
The key anomaly seems to be the accumulation of so much corporate wealth, and so much land and houses cannot be legitimately explained by what the president declares as his income. And we don't know of any legitimate business that the president has been engaged in that can explain how he accumulated that much money.
Estrada's made no secret of his profligate ways and shady mates. Gambling with cronies, as seen in this 1996 casino tape, includes regular million-dollar mahjong sessions. But unable to ignore the growing gravity of the claims against him, Estrada had to act.
We must uphold the spirit of the Constitution and the process it provides.
He agreed to open his property ownership to investigation, remove family from directorships and scrap a few tainted deals. But that's as far as he'd go.
A duly elected president cannot abandon the people's will on the mere basis of what is obviously a politically motivated hatchet job.
What needs to be done? But to many, that's just missing the point.
The initiation of impeachment, your committees know, is a function of the House.
The Senate has now decided it will hold an impeachment hearing. If found guilty, the President would be sacked and could face criminal proceedings. Estrada has a Senate majority, but in a Senate committee investigating the case, even witnesses for Estrada deliver evidence against him. Driven to tears and into a wheelchair by the case, Yolanda Riccaforte is the woman Sing Song claims kept the books for Estrada's ill-gotten gambling gains. After being subpoenaed to appear, Riccaforte supposedly suffered a life-threatening attack of high blood pressure and fears for her safety.
I was most of all afraid of my family and myself because I know that Governor Sing Song is a powerful man.
Riccaforte admits she did give 200 million pesos of Sing Song's money to President Estrada's lawyer, but says she didn't know where the money came from. The only man with all the answers says he will answer all the charges when he decides it's the appropriate time. Denying all charges, he instead says this is a class war between his working-class battlers and the traditional elite. Very serious allegations, sir, very serious allegations of your corruption. Will you resign?
Why would I resign? Am I guilty?
I'm not sure, sir. Did you take the money?
Of course not. Why would I take that money?
Yeah, but a lot of people do believe him, don't they? It's a bit of a problem for you politically.
How can you believe a confessed criminal?
So no.
Even a criminal is given a day in court.
Buffeted but unbowed, Estrada refuses to acknowledge the wider problem he's creating. The stock market is in free fall, the peso at record lows. The Philippines' economy is being crippled by a crisis of confidence. To stem the tide, his would-be successors are taking off the gloves.
The scandals are getting more, the outrage is getting more, the proof is getting stronger, the magnitudes are getting bigger. So while I would not say that I can say that I am convinced beyond doubt because I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, the tendency is to believe because there's so much corroborating consideration.
Estrada claims the nation's masses are still with him, that the whole mess is orchestrated by the elite to oust the people's man from power. But if the claims prove true, the people may demand more than just a dignified resignation from the actor they trusted with their future.